Alright, this is a manga about a 26-year-old business guy and a 16-year-old high school girl. Okay, now that I got that out of the way. But wait. Don't misunderstand. If you think this is going to be some age gap plot with an unequal power dynamic and a relationship full of manipulation and unhealthy treatment, you'd actually be kind of right. I mean, really, you can't help feeling at least a little bad for Takane. Hana's just so mean to the poor guy. Okay, just kidding. Kinda. In all seriousness, though, the premise may sound weird, but it's not. And even if it was, I really like me some age gaps and forbidden stories. I'm not sure what that says about me, so moving on. Welcome to my unique and not shallow at all thoughts and opinions of the manga series Takane Hana. A series about two characters constantly bickering and trying to best the other. If you haven't heard of this series before, consider this my official endorsement for you to go read it. Like, right now. And why should you listen to me and trust my opinion? You know, that's actually fair, as all I'm good for is thriving off of unrealisticness and cliches. Am I still gonna try to convince you to read it? Yes, I am. This series has non-stop comedy and one of the most unique and entertaining romantic dynamics I've ever read about. It also has some side romance, which happens to be one of my favorite things in stories ever. It also has some of the prettiest manga art. It also has a very unpredictable plot. Also, a little side rant, as someone who reads and consumes hundreds of stories, Takane Hana represents what I love about Shojo manga and anime compared to everything else, which is the unique kinds of plots and characters that they have. Generally, Shojo isn't afraid to give you a crazy, and yes, potentially problematic, plot that doesn't hold back. Yet at the same time, it's somehow the purest thing in the world. The characters are genuine and awkward. Although there's plenty of joking, most shoujo doesn't have anything weird because they have enough plot and character to actually carry the story. And Takane Hana does this exact thing. So even though I know a lot of people discount this manga because of its age gap premise, it's personally one of my favorite elements. It's a part of what makes shoujo manga special to me, and I am totally unapologetic about that. Okay, more about what this manga is really about. The manga starts off with Hana taking the place of her older sister in a marriage meeting with this rich old guy's grandson, Takane. Don't you just love Japanese culture? But of course, he's all uppity and starts off by telling her she wears too much makeup and she's probably after his money. Hana, who's already pretty frustrated at the situation, snaps and throws a fake wig in his face before stomping off in true "I'm not like other girls" fashion. Pretty basic premise and characters, right? But it turns around really fast after that, switching to constantly making fun of shoujo stereotypes as both of their real personalities come out. Which is, by the way, hands down, the best thing about this manga. From the very first chapter, these two main characters leap off the page with their ridiculousness, spunk, and just all-around awkward cuteness. Hana is a super spunky high school girl who really likes her normal, regular high school life. She has convictions and a competitive spirit and somehow manages to do all of this without being annoying. Takane, although at first seems like your typical condescending, cocky rich guy, is actually just a super silly and immature, typical condescending, cocky rich guy. Basically, he's a big idiot. I think his maturity was stunted somewhere along the line, which makes the dynamic between him and Hana feel a lot more level than it should be. Although he's still so detached from Hana's way of life that it's hilarious. I just really like Takane because, you get all these rich guys in suits who all have this harsh personality, and, Takane's yeah, he's cocky, and he thinks a lot of himself, but, it's so ridiculous you can't take him seriously, and he has his own personality to balance it out, so, it works, somehow. They both have two very strong personalities that clash, and yet somehow work. Their constant verbal sparring turns into an all-out competition to see who can make the other admit that they like the other first. Competitiveness is definitely one of my favorite tropes. And the issue of the age gap isn't swept under the rug, either. It's definitely a major component of the plot and their dynamic. It's used for comedy, sure. I just love all of the times Hana imagines Takane being hauled off to jail for dating a high schooler. But it balances the comedy of it and the seriousness pretty well. For both of the characters to stand out so much in their own way is quite a feat, at least to me. If you like romance in any capacity, you're probably not oblivious to the fact that it's easy to have a pretty generic, if mildly interesting, female lead. It's another one of the main reasons I love anime and manga so much. For some reason, the characters just seem to be more unique and interesting than other mediums. Another thing I like about Takane Hana is how it pokes fun at practically every shoujo cliché. Not mocking and looking down on them, just doing them in a way unique to the characters. In many stories, you see it a lot where they make fun of the trope, then just throw it out the window without truly managing to improve it. In this, they make fun of it while also still tricking you by using it. They stand out so much that through every typical shoujo trope, they do things their own way and it's so stinking cute and refreshing. But it's not just the main characters that are great, all the side characters are awesome, except maybe one or two. I love Hana's many high school friends as well as Takane's pretty ridiculous ones. And seeing them interact is both the funniest and the best thing ever. Also, both of their families are comedic gold. Character really is the key thing that makes this story so engaging and unpredictable for all 18 volumes. It was so character-driven and every single chapter had some twist or something that made you need to know what happens. Just in the first volume, you get past with the premises, and from then on, you never know where the story is going to take you. And trust me, I get bored very easily. The moment you start to lose my attention and pull me out of the story, I'm already a tad frustrated. Yeah, I know, I have issues. But I wasn't bored once in this manga. Probably also because of the constant comedy on every page. I love comedy, but there's only a certain kind of humor that can make me physically laugh out loud. Yet that's exactly what I did every volume of this manga. Also, I can't be alone in how much I love bickering and banter. I'll touch briefly on the ending, in that I love the ending. It's not really a spoiler since it's not that hard to tell from just looking at all of the covers. But I personally love the ending. It was funny, and it delivered everything that I could have wanted from the series. I also just love my typical shoujo endings. And of course, the art. Shoujo art is my heart and soul, in case you can't tell. It's pretty, but specifically, this series is so stinking funny. Just Hana's constant annoyed look and Takane's evil grin kill me every time. It takes comedic shoujo art to the next level. All of the covers are also beautiful. Just look at this gorgeousness. Although they're all distinctly consistent with the characters, there are definitely a variety of tones and styles. Like whatever these two are. And also, they have a limited edition for the last cover. Please tell me which one you think is better, because I literally cannot decide. I love the traditional shoujo art style, and I want that one so bad, but I know that the extra one comes with bonuses. The struggle is so real. This one is so much funnier, but this one is cliche, and I love them both, okay? So yeah, those are my overall thoughts on this manga. If you happen to have already read this series, a similar manga I would recommend is Dengeki Daisy. They're similar in that they're both age gaps with unique characters and unique dynamics. They both love picking on each other and don't want to admit their feelings, but they're both still very different manga. You should go read that one as well. It's completed with 16 volumes. I'm thinking about doing an edited manga music video for this, which I've never done before, so that should be interesting. And a lot of work. So if you want to see that, make sure to subscribe. Also, let me know, what's the last series you were so sad came to an end? Until next time.